Hello, my friends that love nail art. I just got some new things and I am super excited and I went a little crazy. So I ombre'd these nails before I got going on the video and forgot to record that part, so sorry. Then I did go in and start stamping and realized my camera wasn't running and I was like, oh no. So here we are. It is what it is. I am tidying up the corners of the nail because the transfer was a little bit short on the sides. So I did ombre these with a pink and a purple and mix them together. And then I'm sorry, it was a pink, a light pink, a darker pink, and a purple. And I ombre'd these in different ways. So some of them are horizontal and others are vertical. I just did that for fun, just for something different. And then I stamped over with the fish scales, as you can see, or mermaid scales on two of them. I did leave the top of the first one intentionally blank because I will show you what we're going to do with that. And I have no idea what's going on right now in the video. Oh, I'm switching plates. That's what I'm doing. Sorry about that. I am going to put a couple of little bits on to these other two nails. So we have two nails that are kind of focal nails and two nails that are just fun nails. And then we have the fifth nail there as well, which will become our super glittery fun nail. I just got some new gemstones that I was playing with and oh my God, I had so much fun. It does take a while to do these. These are definitely not a set you can do quickly at the salon, but you do need extra time for them, but they are well worth their weight. The plate that I'm using, I have used before on a different video. It was called the Little Mermaid video, I believe. I have a 3-part series at this point that are all beach / mermaid friendly. We just stamped that with the Mermaid Life. It's a thing. I don't know. The Little Mermaid's out again. It was like a childhood favorite when I was a kid, and I just couldn't help myself. I also just really happen to love fish scales in the summer. Any different way you can, make them happen. I put a little bit of gel foil at the top of that nail and then took a piece of the foil from one of my other videos and put that on the top of the nail just to give it a different look. And these are the 3 glitters that we're going to be using. I did this in reverse, so don't ask me why I'm closing them. They'll be back in a minute. Those glitters I did just pick up on Amazon. I picked up 2 different sets and I adore them. I can't even tell you how much I adore them. These are the iridescent set. They have a couple of different sets. This one is an all iridescent set, so each of them has iridescence to them. And then there's also another set I picked up, which I plan to use later on, which is super fun and glittery, but does not have the same iridescence. It's more of a holographic. These I'm just tapping into base coat. So I've applied some base coat and then I'm tapping in they're hexagonal. The large pieces are hexagonal, and then there's some smaller hexagons and then some just glitter. It's like a mix of glitter. I'm tapping those in so that they look like fish scales at the top of the nail, which kind of finishes off that look that we had going. And then I am also going to tap in a little bit of glitter into the scales themselves just to give it a little something fun. I find it kind of interesting when you have some glitter at the back of some of the fish scale design. I do tap that in afterwards though, not beforehand. So, I don't know where I was. One of my kids walked in and that was that. I am going to go on and top coat that a little bit and let it dry, and then I'll go back and do another top coat after the fact. And I'm just going to tap in a little more glitter. I think I was saying that I like the fish scales when they have a little bit of glitter here and there. It just adds an element of interest instead of just leaving the fish scales plain. But you can't really do it before you put the fish scales on because you never know exactly where they're going to come up. On the second nail, I'm just going to, it's called burnishing, when you just burnish in some glitter. So I'm just picking up bits of glitter. I'm using the lighter pink and putting that in to the nail. I apologize if you can hear my kid yelling in the background. He's waiting for his brother. I'm not going to go down as far as the going over the stamp part. I'm just going to go around the stamp part because I don't want the white to be hindered. After I get this all done, I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. I decided to go back and add a little bit more because glitter, I don't know, it's a thing. That middle one is just a very, very, very pale iridescent greenish tone to it, which worked out really nicely. This is the fish scales that I put on the top earlier, so just across the top. And now we're going to start adding some gemstones. This is going to take a few minutes, so I'll tell you a little bit about what I did here. I did not actually use the glue that you normally would use. So a lot of times people use gem glue. I actually just used top coat in this particular case because a client is actually not wearing these nails. So I wasn't overly concerned about them staying on for a long period of time because these will end up being a display nail at the salon for my clients to look at. So I have put on the basic stones and then I'm going to stop there for a minute and let that dry. I am going to go back and use those teeny tiny little seed. They're like a flat backed, almost like a seed bead, to fill in between the nail. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm just going in and putting a little bit of that glitter on the Mermaid Life nail. And as I have said before, in similar videos, making sure your polish is dry is helpful. Making sure that your glitter is pressed in really well is also very helpful. Most clients don't like it to end up rough by any stretch, so burnishing your glitter in is extremely helpful. I'm going to use the same technique I did earlier where I was putting in some glitter into some different scales, but in this particular case, I am using that darker pink. Part of that was because the end of the nail was a darker pink, and part of it was because I just wanted it to be a little bit more intense on this nail than on the other nail. So I am intentionally picking some of those medium and larger hexagonal pieces, which actually did fit really well in this particular scale stamp. And I'll continue to just add a few bits here and there. I am trying to intentionally not line up my scales. So I'm checking my placement periodically to make sure that they're scattered looking. So think about it as intentionally scattered and not all on the center of the nail or all on the top or all on the side. So intentionally smattering them kind of across the nail. It's very easy to get in the habit of just doing a pattern and your eyes want to make everything the same. So yeah, just be careful of that. These are the little seed beads. I did get these on Amazon as well. I'm going to use the silver. You could use silver or gold, I feel like, with this set, but I went with the silver. I'm using the third size in, so not the tiniest, certainly not the biggest, but kind of right in the middle. What I'm going to do, it's going to take a few minutes, this is the part that takes the longest, is just fill in between all of those stones. And what that's going to look like when it's done is it's going to create a look of almost like a piece of jewelry. So it's going to look like a piece of jewelry on the nail, almost like a bracelet or something that is stretched across the nail. It is a great way to finish off any kind of stonework look. I really do think it's worth the doing, even though it takes a while. I'm not going to show the whole thing. I do show one side and then I'll fast forward to when I got the other side done so you can see just the last little bit of placement. I loved how this came out. This nail is one of my absolute favorite stonework nails I've ever done. I think between the ombre and the foil fish scales and the gemstones, it just really all came together very nicely and I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm hoping you're enjoying this set too, because truly I do feel like it's probably one of the better sets I've ever done for, mermaid / ocean look. I am done with everything at this point, so I didn't add anything else to the nails that I didn't show you. But I am top coating right now. I am using Holo Taco again. I know, I can't help myself. The Glossy Taco is just one of my favorite top coats. It's nice and thick and gives just a beautiful finish on the nails. I am not going to go on top of those stones. I'm going to come up underneath them. I will give the silver bits a little bit of staying power by adding a little bit of that filler in the top coat, but I don't go over the actual crystals themselves because sometimes that can make them a little bit cloudy. It depends on the work I'm doing. Sometimes I do go over them when they're small. This one I did not because they were larger stones. And that is it. I have cured them and they are done. Don't forget to check out the next sneak peek. We're going to do some glazed nails. See you in the next one.